goes over the top, like that. It's made of calfskin, and then the horns, the impala horns, well, Thompson Gazelle horns, if you want to be straight, comes up like that. So it's like we've cut the Thompson Gazelle in half, and I don't know, we'd trap them out like that. I prefer them like that, I think. Maybe sort of like surrounding a head type thing. And I suppose you could class this as costume, but it's costume with a deadly meaning, so I'd like to see anyone who wears this go on a number 19 bus back to Islington.
He's British fashion's wild child, famous for his bumpster trousers and shocking shows. He's the boy from the East End Council House who's now head of design at one of the most famous labels in the world, Givenchy in Paris. He's Alexander McQueen, and this is his story.
There's always an energy in London, the poverty, the unemployment, the drug-induced environment, the nightlife. And it is the way I predict my own clothes. It is about the raw energy of London. This is for that Miss Selfish finish. This is the commercial side. Are you ready, Miss England? Try these knickers on again. For the BBC. You are. When I first started as a designer after I left college, I really worked at East End Yob. This type of hooligan type of person becoming a designer. So that juxtaposition between an hooligan and someone who uses a needle, and people couldn't fathom it. And so it was new, it was a breath of fresh air. Katie's the most important part of McQueen. Camera up, please. She's the Tweedledee to my Tweedledum. She fuels my imagination.
He just sort of doesn't feel restricted, I think. He lets his imagination run away with him. If he's making a dress and he's putting sort of resin on it or Beetle's wings in it or whatever it might be, it sounds crazy, but you know, at first you think, God, what's he doing?
The first Santa's sleigh girl.
He's got the most wicked laugh, and every time he laughs over the phone, I think of one person, Jack Nicholson. I can just see he reminds me of Jack Nicholson every time he laughs.
But this is one assistant that didn't quite work out. See Kath over there, she's not lucky, she'll be in next year's season.
Most of the workers he calls his family. They have been so loyal to him, right from the very beginning. Many of them work for nothing with him, and they've builded themselves up, and they're a great credit.
This is Simon Costin. He's my art director for my shows.
You know when he's satisfied with something, because there's this sort of sense of calm that descends. You know when he's not, because he's like shredding it to pieces and repinning it.
Oh, God, nearly had his own back.
He knows intuitively when it's worked and when it hasn't, because it's achieved whatever it is of this idea that he's got in his head.
We should have his towel coming out the front.
McQueen's appointment as head of design at Givenchy surprised some people. How would the outlandish style made famous by McQueen's own label in London transfer to the more conservative atmosphere of the house of Givenchy in Paris?
peu.
Yeah, this is Paris, some Paris chic. This is Givenchy, this is not McQueen. This is where elegant suits are made and fantastic fabrics are used and they're cut with precision. I mean, it's going to take my own label, McQueen, another 40 years to get the reputation this one has. This is the Bet Lynch dress. And we also treated it, bonding plastic over the top for raincoats, so you get the whole ensemble. Okay. I've started to really like Paris, and I'm thinking of staying here much more than I ever thought I would. It's kind of relaxing, and it's kind of nice that I have a special office for myself, where in London I use a used studio and it's shared by others. Here I have my own office, I pick up the phone and I get what I want. Because I want it. So I ask for it.
Alexander McQueen n'a rien fait pour éviter de choquer. Il n'a rien fait pour faciliter son accession à cet empire.
People don't take young English yobs lightly in Paris.
J'ai eu l'occasion, juste avant sa première collection, de l'interviewer. Et je lui ai posé cette question en disant quels sont vos sentiments pour Hubert Givenchy. Quel sentiment et quel respect avez-vous pour son talent? Et il m'a répondu, quel talent?
I really do rely on my honesty, and in fashion it doesn't go down too well because people want to hear how good they are and how nice their magazine is. I don't think that's modern for the 21st century. I don't think it's the way fashion's going to survive in the 21st century.
Taking that Givenchy contract was such a huge thing.
Right.
And all of a sudden we're in this very zhushy Paris couture house, skipping around in trainers. You could read when we first arrived, I think there was this sort of terror written, you know, terror. And then they were sort of quite lulled into a sort of slightly false sense of security, because I think there's a lot more shocks to come.
J'ai très peur quand il prend les ciseaux. Ça, c'est... Quand je le vois avec les ciseaux, parce qu'il m'a déjà coupé des choses. Il m'a déjà coupé un pantalon, une combinaison pantalon. Il me l'a coupé en body. Alors maintenant, quand je le vois avec les ciseaux, j'ai très, très peur.
I'm intent on just chopping things up. Not chopping them up to destroy them, but chopping them up to alter them. And it's like, they're quite precise and like take the threads out and this, and I just get the scissors and go whack it off. And they go like that, and I go, it's okay, it's only clothes. I just had this passion for it, you know, I just loved it. I mean, if you talk to any of my school teachers, my old books, science books, English books, maths books, were full of clothes.
Lee finds it difficult to cope in a large comprehensive school and needs to organise himself more. He has a tendency to chatter, but he realises this and working hard to improve. Then we go on to his art. Oh, he got an A. Excellent. Lee has artistic ability and always works hard. The one that surprised me most probably was French, of all subjects. Lee is an enthusiastic student who clearly enjoys French. He obviously enjoyed learning French at that time, which is rather peculiar, isn't it, really, when you think about it?
It's good.
La jupe?
Jupe.
Vous avez une jupe comme ça?
Oh,
Moi, j'ai pas de jupe.
Le robe. Le robe.
La robe comme ça?
Comme
Oui.
ça.
Mais il y a des jupes?
Yeah. Yeah, it's okay.
Il y a jupe et
Oh,
jupe.
jupe. Oh.
Des petites jupes.
Oh, it's okay.
I think
I thought it was pantalon. We have a universal language, although I can't speak French. You know, as soon as I start working with them, we know instantly the way I move my hand.
Au lieu que ça fasse
Ah oui,
ça
ok,
et
non,
ça,
non, d'accord.
c'est rond.
Yeah, ok.
I'm not one of these designers who sit back and say, and point to things. You know, I can't work like that. At the end of the day, I come from the atelier myself, of the workrooms of Savile Row.
The tailoring skills McQueen learnt on Savile Row have become one of the hallmarks of his work. But the teenage apprentice had no intention of staying below stairs for long.
I knew I couldn't survive in a place like that for the rest of my life, cluttered in a small workshop, sitting on a bench, padding lapels. God, it was so boring. But I did have a passion, and I was good at it. I was good at tailoring the jacket. I was quick at learning, and quick at learning trousers. I wanted to learn everything, everything. Give me everything.
I certainly remember him working with us, and though sadly we lost his talent, no way were we going to keep him. His mind and nature was inquisitive, never short of asking questions. Why this? Why that? Why put a cut in a coat here rather than there to create a chest or to create suppression in a waist? All this was very evident from the way he worked and the way he talked.
A single-breasted jacket is a single-breasted jacket. It doesn't move on. A double-breasted is a double-breasted. You know what I mean? It's like a jacket's a jacket, but I wanted to pull the lapels around the back of the necks, up the arse and everywhere else. This coat, which is based on a sort of like 19th century frock coat, and what we've done here with the Prince of Wales check is embroidered it with a satin stitch rose going up the side, and then we took the same pattern and then turned it into streetwear by putting it in denim and bleaching it. Here you have like a city suiting. It's quite a nice one with a pink pinstripe, and it looks like the lining's coming out underneath, and it's not. It's all been sort of like panelled into the jacket, and you know, it's just that idea that it's that weird idea of mine that, you know, something that could be so messy, but then it can still look elegant.
No, he's really busy at the moment, Paul.
I like people that chase the future instead of working with the norm. What's the point in designing a Mini if a Mini's already there?
I'll tell him he won't come to film because he's really busy.
Only little devil, isn't he? That's what fashion was about. It's that time to experiment and push boundaries. I mean, I've always had a fascination with the macabre.
Well, I'll tell him, but I know what he's going to say.
The idea is this wildebeest has eaten a really lovely blonde girl. She's trying to get out. My mum's looking at me kind of weird, thinking, what have I given birth to? It's sort of like, oh, it's funny.
I did often wonder when he'd get a job, you know, like what we'd call a proper job.
That was the last thing he was ever going to do. No, he was different right from the very beginning. As I said, he was different right from when he was young.
McQueen's first big break came when he won a coveted place on the fashion MA course at St Martin's School of Art in London. But his entry into this hothouse for British fashion was highly unusual.
It was pretty extraordinary because, you know, you interview endless students to decide who you will take on the course, and they come to you from all over the world. And with Alexander, he just arrived, walked into my office with a bundle of clothes and asked me to give him a job. He wasn't thinking of joining the course. And I was intrigued. So we talked a bit more, and then I said, well, did he design himself, or did he draw at all? And he said, yes, he'd always drawn. And I was very interested. And I said, well, I haven't time to go on talking to you, but if you like, come back and see me with some drawings. Because, you know, it might be a good idea if you took this course.
I know he was thrilled to pieces that had been offered. But of course, straight away, where am I going to get the college fees? But that's when his aunt stepped in and offered him the money.
was so desperate for that money. I didn't pay it back until I got the Givenchy job, and I just paid it back with all one lump sum, and it was like, it was fab.
To me, at that time, that was the pinnacle, seeing him have his MA show.
I never doubted his talent, but I wondered whether he'd ever discipline it enough to actually, you know, control it. One didn't realize that he would produce a collection which would be so exciting. And Isabella Blow, who was a contributing editor to Vogue, spotted him, and he was the one she took up.
His real name is Lee. Everyone else calls him Lee. I call him Alexander, because I think of Alexander the Great. I was sitting on the floor. I couldn't even get a seat at the St. Martin's show. And the pieces went past me, and they moved in a way I've never seen. And I wanted them. They were modern, they were classical. The colours were very extreme. He would do a black coat, but then he'd line it with human hair, and it was blood red inside. So it was like a body. It was like the flesh with blood. And I just thought, this is the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. Next day, I rang up, and I couldn't get hold of him. And his mother said to him that there's this mad woman who keeps trying to call us. I don't know, she wants some of your clothes. I rang between 6 and 8 times a day. Finally, I got a little voice on the end of the line. Hello? So I said, yes, can I come make an appointment with you? My name's Isabella Blow. I don't know to this day if he knew who I was.
No, I just wanted the money. I was desperate for money.
I wasn't interested in him either. I just wanted the clothes.
I didn't give her no money off. I said, that's $3.50, love. You can take it or leave it. And she loved that.
Actually, it wasn't $3.50 the lot. It was $3.50 per piece.
Izzy, she's a lovely person. She really is a lovely person. And, you know, you have to give her such praise because isn't she talented? You know, apart from the hats and everything, I mean, Izzy loves the hats, but isn't she talented to spot all these people?
I think Isabella just took on, you know, where the school left off. I mean, she bought his collection, she wore it, she promoted him, she talked about him. As far as I know, he stayed in her house. She's been incredible, and I think she's helped him quite enormously.
These designers think that you made me. And
No,
it's never been about...
No, they don't. They know that
What did they do? Because you see it all the time in the press. You see them like, oh, Isabella Blow responsible for Philip Treacy and Alexander McQueen.
No, they say...
They do just say that. But the thing is, it's never been about that for me and you.
Does that really annoy you that they always put this little strap as discovered by Isabella Blow? Does it really piss you off?
No, not at all, because Izzy has helped me a lot in that way, but not in a way that she's sort of like, you know, she does it because she loves my clothes, not because she loves me.
Exactly. That's the point.
Oh.
Because I can't stand her guts. Joke.
I just knew that he had something really special, very modern. It was about sabotage and tradition, which is the perfect combination, and beauty, violence, all the things that I suppose the 90s represent.
McQueen was to become the most controversial designer of the 90s, making his name with the plunging waistlines of the bumpster trouser.
I had to elongate the abdomen, and the only way to do that was to bring the waistline down to the possible bare minimum. My focus was on the front of the body, not on the back. And the good old British press loved to make something out of nothing, and it's not like it was gorgeous bum, and it's like, oh, builder's bum, and actually they're not appealing at all, not even to a gay man, I'm afraid.
Air France is pleased to announce the departure of its Paris Express flight. Follow passengers, proceed to gate number 5, where the flight is now boarding.
When you think of Givenchy, you think of Audrey Hepburn, and you can't live in the 50s. He wants to take it into the 21st century and sort of almost put a little bit of Audrey Hepburn in the past.
I want to try and make it slightly younger and hipper and more funkier. It's to do with Rita Tushingham, Lynn Redgrave, Georgie Gill and that type of thing. To me, the company, before I come here, lacked that direction a bit. You know, you couldn't really identify what the Givenchy look was. And because Hubert Givenchy was such a fine tailor, it's better that we stick to the tailoring side.
I think he's already done a lot with the house because Givenchy have had a lot of press. It's a more difficult thing to deal with because McQueen is McQueen in London. Givenchy is taking over from another man in Paris. And it's like, as Alexander says himself, it's like taking a dinosaur out of the sea. And I think in one season, he's done that. So I think in a year, he will have done 20 times that. He comes up here about 4 times a year, maybe half a dozen, and he completely takes it over, arrives, it becomes his office, and it becomes his sort of play den. And he relaxes and he feels very at home.
He just loves it up there. He just finds it so relaxing. I think he just goes into another world when he's up there, especially when he's with his birds.
I've always had this thing about nature. I get lots of inspiration from nature itself. It comes a lot in my work, really. I mean, it's a big aesthetic for me, so I work on that a lot. The whole show feeling was about the Thompson gazelle. It's a poor little critter. The markings are lovely. It's got these dark eyes here, the white of the belly, then the black line going across, then the tan, the horns. But it is the food chain of Africa. As soon as it's born, it's dead. I mean, you're lucky if it lasts a few months. And that's how I see human life, in the same way. You know, we can all be discarded quite easily, and nothing depicts it more honestly than the way animals are. And I was trying to also say the fragility of a designer's time in the press. You're there, you're gone. It's a jungle out there.
Any film crews, all camera crews, go around to the front gate.
It's the night of the show for McQueen's own label. He forces the fashion world to take a trip to Borough Market, just south of London Bridge.
No, it's nice to show them the rough part of London and make them a bit scared and look over their shoulder once in a while. For me, the reason people come to London is to see the real London, not to see a make-believe London.
You always sit there a bit apprehensive.
I do, don't I? I do.
She's waiting to see what comes.
I am a bundle of nerves. I think, oh my God, what am I going to see this time, you know?
I think we all are.
Before the show is probably the most stressful moment in any designer's year, really.
Sam, you want to start the show, just get back out there.
Naturally, he's just completely on edge and he just sort of goes a bit crazy, really.
Yeah, we all standing by, ready to go. Yeah. Okay, but where's
are taking yourself as a model to a level that, you know, in Milan, in New York, in Paris, you would never go. You know, it never happens, and it's so strange and brilliant and new.
Constantly playing as a traditional tailor with the body in very modern forms. So the armpits get longer, the shoulders get wider, they get higher, the hips are accentuated, the waist is accentuated. I mean, God knows where he's going to slash next. But that's what makes him so modern.
The Witch Doctor. The Witch Doctor. The Witch Doctor. The Witch Doctor. The Witch Doctor.
I thought it was absolutely mad. Absolutely mad. The horns in the back of the jacket and sticking up here.
I think he's unaware of quite how shocking some of the things he does are, and how they kind of jolt people. It isn't something he's acquired because he thinks it's fashionable to do so. It's him.
I thought there were some lovely suits there, really lovely suits.
I don't see the point in doing anything that doesn't create an emotion, good or bad. If you're disgusted, well, at least that's emotion. If you walk away and you forgot everything you saw, then I haven't done my job properly. I don't think I've done my best yet. I've not been happy with anything I've done so far. I've been happy, adequately happy, but I haven't been blown away.
Hey there, Georgie girl, dreaming of the someone you could be. Life is a reality, you can't always run away.
You're always window shopping, but never stopping to buy.
So shed those dowdy feathers and fly
a little bit.
Hey there, Georgie girl, there's another Georgie deep inside. Bring out all the love you hide, and oh, what a change there'd be.